Hello again, YouTube. It's the engineer here from Turn and Burn. Today we're going to be engraving this design on a stainless steel flask. Before we get into that, I want to start kind of walking through the steps of creating the design. So I have a shape of Tennessee from a past project. You can download these from Suncatcher Studio. It's a pretty good place that I found to get all the state shapes and many other things. So we started with this. We offset. I did an eighth of an inch to the inwards direction, or the left. That created just a little bit of offset because all I want is a border of the state right here when we engrave this. So I've got my border. I accept that. I click text. I'm going to put a last name of a friend in here, and it just put it wherever, so I can center that up and resize it. So I've got the font that I like in that already. The text is just a little bit too big. So I'm going to drag this corner, scale it down some, play with the position till it's just about where I like it. Now Tennessee is not a symmetrical shape like some of you guys out west. So we're a little bit limited on it getting it exactly in the center. Now what I can do, if you click the text and then hold shift, and click that button, or click the inner perimeter there, you can center it vertically by clicking that button, and center it left and right by clicking that button, and that is perfectly centered on that shape. Obviously it's not going to work for us because of that, it runs outside the perimeter of the Tennessee. So, but we're going to keep the up and down portion of it. We're just going to slide it straight to the left a little bit. You can see this line pops up, and that's how I know I'm keeping on the same plane that I was on just a little bit ago. And let's shrink it down just a little bit more. Again, I'm holding shift and scaling it, and that keeps it centered when you hold shift. Otherwise, if you just scale it, it doesn't keep it centered in its location. I'm going to undo that, Control Z. So that's pretty much what we have there. I'm going to convert that text to curves. That way it no longer sees this, the program no longer sees this as a G. It now sees it as a bunch of funny shaped lines that to the human eye looks like a G, but to the computer it's just some vectors is all that is. And that's how we want to get that going. So this is V Carve Pro, by the way. Aspire can also be used. This is just my preferred program to do the CAD portion of the work. So we've got that ready. I'm going to export this by going, so I've got it selected. There's other things on this page, but I only want to export this portion of it. So I have it selected, go to File, Export as a DXF. The DXF is kind of the universal file format that can be shared between a bunch of different programs. So I'm going to save it just to my desktop for now for the purpose of this demonstration. We'll just call it Flask. And there I have it. So next I'm going to pull up Lightburn. And I'm going to go File. Yes, I know there's a new version. No, I don't want to download it. File, Import. Go to my desktop where this just was, and it brings it up. So this Lightburn I'm going to be engraving this on the laser, so I'm using Lightburn to do the cam portion of it. So that's where you do your tool pathing. So as you can tell, I've got to zoom way in. This is from 27 inches to 20. So this whole thing's about an inch wide. I need it to be about 3 inches wide. So what I'm going to do is, I know the size of my flask is, let's see what it is. I believe it's 3 inches by 4 inches. So if I scroll out, that's the engravable area of the flask that I'm putting this on. So I just made a rectangle that size. I've got this. I'm going to group it so everything moves around as one thing. I'm going to, so I've got to put it in on my flask here, and I've got to scale it to where it's the right size. So I could click and drag and kind of ballpark it and try to guesstimate, but I really don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I've got it selected, real similar to the centering feature of V Carve that we just talked about. I've got it selected, and then I hold shift and I select this rectangle here. And then let's see, where is it? You can align it align it vertically, and then align it horizontally, and that is in the dead center of the flask. Now you can see it's a little too wide, so I'm going to select it. Now in this program, in V Carve Pro, if you hold shift and drag it, it keeps it centered. In this program, you have to hold control and drag it to do the same thing. If you hold shift and drag it, it screws up the scale. It's essentially doing the same thing as that, which I don't want to do. So that looks pretty good to me. I know it's centered. It's maximizing the usable area of my flask. So I'm happy with it. So the CAD work is done. I'm going to go over here to my cut layers. I've got a speed for, I've done a little bit of practicing on this, so I know that the speed is about 850. Works well for my laser. I'm running an Aeon, A-E-O-N, CO2 laser. It's a 100-watt laser. So I'm going to do a speed of 850, a max power of 65, min power 65. One pass is plenty. And where's my lines per inch? Let's see here. Oh, I just have it online. So if you put it to fill, it gives you the option to fill out your lines per inch. I want 400, so that's about right. So that's good. I just want to do one pass. That's plenty for this, and we're good to go. I'm not going to have the compressed air turned on here. I'm only going to have the just the little bit of air that comes naturally with the machine that blows just a little bit out of the nozzle. I'm not going to have the auxiliary air turned on. That's more used for when you're cutting things. We're just engraving on stainless steel, so it's not really necessary. So that's really about it. I will click send. I'm not currently connected to my laser, but I click send it to the laser, and let's go over there and take a look at it. Alright, we're at the laser now. The file's been uploaded into the program. I click start and it takes off. So what you're seeing here is it traveling back and forth, left to right, and it's engraving the perimeter. As we're moving along through it, it's engraving the perimeter, and then here just shortly you'll see it start outlining or start burning the paint away in the shape of the text that we put in there. So it's coming along nicely. I don't have any fixturing on this. It's not secured to the table. There's really no need on this particular item. It doesn't move around any. It's pretty stable. Sometimes we will need to fix them to the table via magnets or something of that nature. But with this flask, it's got enough weight to where it's not really necessary. So we've got it, got the engraving wrapping up here. It's pretty quick. And one quick reminder about safety: the laser that's doing the work here is harmful to the human eye if you were to watch it. So always make sure you're wearing your proper PPE and or watching it through a protective lens, which this laser comes equipped with. So this one's done, and right here is the final result after it's been cleaned up a little bit. And all in all, turned out pretty good. It's a pretty quick and easy project. If y'all have any questions, leave me a comment. If y'all enjoyed this video and this kind of content, let me know. Give me a like and a subscribe on the channel here, and there will be more videos to come here shortly. Y'all have a good day. Thanks.